Hello, Vita, your chapter continue. Your next paragraph. Now he felt her hand on his arm and was aware of the pleasure it gave him, even though they had been married years enough to have the two children. For they had not married heedlessly in America. Heedlessly means carelessly. They had finished their work at school and had come home to Japan, and when his father had seen her, the marriage had been arranged in the old Japanese way. Although Sdao and Hana had talked everything over beforehand, they were perfectly happy. She laid her cheek against his arm. Okay? Explanation of this paragraph. Sdao and Hana loved each other even after having two children. After many years of marriage, they had not married in a haste in America. Rather, they returned to Japan, sought permission from their parents, and then got married in a traditional Japanese ceremony. They had discussed all the details before the wedding. They were happy with each other. Hannah rested her cheek against Dao's arm with affection, with love. It was at this moment that both of them saw something black come out of the mist. It was a man. He was flung up out of the ocean, flung, it seemed, to his feet by a breaker. He staggered few steps. Staggered means walk unsteadily as if about to fall. His body outlined against the mist, his arms above his head, then the curled mist hid him. Okay? Explanation of these lines. That moment they saw a figure appear out of the mist. It appeared black in color due to the mist in the air. The outline of a man's body was visible in the mist. He walked unsteadily with his arms above the head. It was an indication that he was a prisoner. The man walked a few steps and then disappeared in the mist. Your next paragraph. Who is that? She dropped Siddha's arm and leaned over the railing of the veranda. Now they saw him again. The man was on his hands and knees, crawling. Then they saw him fall on his face and lie there. Upon seeing the figure, Hannah reacted by asking, "What was that?" He took her arm out of Siddha's arm and both of them bent forward over the railing of the veranda to have a closer look at the man. They saw him again. He was crawling on his hands and knees, and then he fell on his face and kept on lying there. Probably he had fainted, and a fisherman, perhaps thou said, was from his boat. He ran quickly down the stairs. Hannah cried. Hannah came, her white sleeves flying. On other side there were fishing villages, but here was only the bare and lonely coast, dangerous with the rocks. The surf beyond the beach was spiked with rocks. Spiked means covered. Somehow the man had managed to come through them. He must be badly torn. Okay? Explanation of these lines. As the area had villages full of fishermen, Sdao said that probably it was a fisherman and who had been washed off his boat. He ran to help him. Hannah followed him. The loose leaves of her haroi flew as he ran. This part of the coast was not inhabited as it had dangerous rocks on it. As the rocks were pointed, the man could be badly injured, although he had managed to come through them. Okay? And then next paragraph. They saw when they came toward him that indeed it was so. The sand on one side of him had already a stain of red soaking through. Stain of red means blood stain. As the Japanese couple saw the man, they realized that he was badly injured. The sand on which he lay had blood stains on one side, which indicated that he was wounded. Your next paragraph. He is wounded, Snow exclaimed. He made haste to the man, who lay motionless, his face in the sand, and old cap stuck to his head, soaked with sea water. He was in wet rags of garments. Snow stopped Hannah at his side and turned the man's head. They saw the face. A white man. Hannah whispered. Snow said that the man was wounded. He approached the man, who lay motionless, with his face buried in the sand. An old cap hung on his head. It was soaked with sea water. His dress was also wet and torn. Snow turned the man's head. As they saw the face, Hannah spoke confidently that he was a white man, an American soldier. Okay, your next paragraph. Yes, it was a white man. The wet cap fell away, and there was his wet yellow hair, long as through. For many weeks it had not been cut, and upon his young and tortured face was a rough yellow beard. He was unconscious and knew nothing that they did for him. Okay? The injured man was an American. As his cap fell off, they saw his wet yellow colored hair, which had not been cut for a long time. He was young, his face had such marks which indicated that he had been tortured. He had a rough, unkempt yellow colored beard. As he had fainted, he did not know of the presence of Snow and Hannah. Your next paragraph. Now Snow remembered the wound, and with his expert fingers he began to search for it. Blood flowed freshly at his touch. On the right side of his lower back, Snow saw that a gun wound had been reopened. The flesh was blackened with powder. Blackened with powder. Sometime not many days ago, men had been shot and had not been tendered. Tender means scared for look after. It was bad chance that the rock had struck the wound. Okay? Snow was reminded that the man was wounded as he had seen blood stain on the sand. As he was a doctor, he moved his trained fingers around the man's back to search for the wound. He felt blood oozing out of the wound in the lower part of his back. It was a gunshot. The man had been injured a few days ago. He had not got any medical help to treat the wound as he had himself used some black colored substance on the Osdau was reminded that the man was wounded as he had seen bloodstain on the sand. As he was a doctor, he moved his trained finger around the man's back to search for the wound. He felt blood oozing out of a wound in the lower part of his back. It was a gunshot. The man had been injured a few days ago. He had not got any medical help to treat the wound as he had himself used some black colored powdery substance on it. The sharp on the shore had forced it, and so it was bleeding. Okay, your next paragraph. On how he is bleeding, Hannah whispered again in slow voice, in pitch serious and concerned. The mist screened them now completely. At this time of day. No one came by. The fishermen had gone home, and even the chance beachcombers would have considered the day at an end. Beachcomber means a vagrant who makes a living by searching beaches for article of value and selling them. Okay. Hannah was concerned that the man was injured and said in a low voice that he was bleeding. The mist has intensified now. The three of them could not be spotted by anyone. Moreover, the fishermen and the rag picker did not visit the place at that time of the day. What shall, next paragraph, what shall we do with the man? Thou muttered, but his trained hands seemed of their own a will to if they could to stand at the bound the beach and men with pain in his stupor, but he did not awake. Muttered means speak in a low voice. Stance means stop, restrict, and simos means a kind of seaweed. Steward means scattered entirely over a place area. Low, low cry in pain. Stupor. The best thing that we could do or would be to put him back in the sea, thou said, answering himself. Now that the bleeding was stopped for the moment, he stood up and dusted the sand from his hands. Yes, undoubtedly that would be best, Hannah said steadily. But she continued to stare down at the motionless man. If we shelter a white man in our house, we should be arrested, and if we turned him over as a prisoner, he would certainly die. So thou said, the kindest thing would be to put him back into the sea. Hannah said, but neither of them moved. They were staring with the curious repulsion. Repulsion means a strong dislike upon the inert figure. Inert means motionless figure. Explanation of these lines. Snow answered to himself and said that the best thing was to put the men back into the sea. As the bleeding stopped, he stood up and removed the dust from his hands. Hannah spotted his opinion at the man as he lay still. Snow said that if they gave him the shelter, they would be arrested for sheltering an enemy. If they handed him over to the Japanese army as a prisoner, then he would die in the prison. As he thought that both the options were not favorable, so the best option was to put him back into the sea. Hannah added that the kindest act for them was to put him back into the sea. Both of them did not move ahead to do so. Rather, they stared at the motionless figure with dislike. They disliked him because he was an enemy, an American. Okay?